All right, Shalom Boys here. Welcome to the Covenant. Well, something interesting happened yesterday. I'm at Chuck E. Cheese, with my son and my daughters. And, we hadn't been to Chuck E. Cheese in a while. I've just been, so busy. And, the wife is such a homebody. She hates to go out. But, go to Chuck E. Cheese, and one of the things that I noticed is that literally nobody was there. I mean, it was me and 3 other families were there, and that person had 1 child, another person had 2 children. So, we pretty much, had Chuck E. Cheese all to ourselves. And if you're going to go to Chuck E. Cheese, and if you have one in the area, just pay a monthly fee. I think we got the $30 monthly pass, and you get a certain degree of tickets or plays. So I think it's a pretty good deal for $30. And 4 children, you can go every day if you wanted to. But we typically go, when we can. But we know it's paid for. So, I'm there, at Chuck E. Cheese, and I see another lady, and of course, it's very rare that people don't come up to me and acknowledge, my children. When we go out, it's very seldom that they're not acknowledged for their set apartness, for their holiness, how they dress and how they present themselves. Because we live in a society today. Well, look at even the children and how the parents, dress their children. And one of the things I noticed about her granddaughter, she's with her grandchildren, is that the granddaughter, she had on a very beautiful, long, white dress. And so, the children are playing there, they're playing and stuff. And the lady says, out of the blue, she was like, yeah, I'm a prepper. And I'm like, why would she tell me that? I guess she noticed that there was something different about me and, in the children. And she gets on the tongue. I said, well, really? Out of the blue, she tells me she must have been like 55, 56. But look, it appears to be in good health. And she says, well, I'm a prepper. And she says, she starts to go on about, what's going on in society. And if something happened, she has, a couple of years worth of supply of food. And I was like, wow, because I've never ran into another prepper out here, particularly. It's never taken place. So I was shocked and I was pleasantly surprised. But what was more so interesting was the fact that she was telling me, or describing me, the psychology of people that are out here, particularly the church. And you know how when you run into somebody of like mind, you want to get it all out. And I was listening to her talk because I'm intrigued about, the local areas, specifically, the Negro population, or the African Americans, the Black, whatever you want to call them. And she was telling me about how, they don't want to hear the truth, especially in the church. She'll go to the church and she'll tell them and she'll warn them and they'll call her all types of names, and they'll call her paranoid, and they'll tell her that she thinks she's better than everybody else, and she's arrogant, and all of these I said, haven't I heard this before? And you're trying to warn the people, and they don't want to hear it, but at the same time, they tell you that, they're going to come to your place, if something happens, and, all of this same kind of stuff. It's amazing how you hear the same rhetoric. And I whipped out my phone because I know somebody out in Cairo, a woman that was talking about, prepping and stuff. And actually, I did a video phone call, and I taped it and I put it on YouTube, but it's just a couple of years ago. And I said, I said, you know this person? He said, yeah, I know that person. Because, it's just a small town. People know people. It's not like a major city. Especially if you lived out here all your life. And I've been out here for about 12 years now. But it was amazing to hear the mental state of people. And I was telling them, I said, listen here. These people cannot be convinced. They cannot be told or informed or, of the truth. Now, I told her the same thing. Listen here, after the first and second ammunition, reject. Meaning if you warn somebody once, you warn somebody twice, listen here, you wasting your breath. You wasting your time. And it was amazing because it was like a lot of things that even though she knew, she needed to hear it from somebody that was of like mind. She needed to hear it from somebody that understood and went through the trials and tribulations, because she doesn't know any other preppers. She doesn't know anybody else that is preparing for hard times. We talked about side hustles. She was talking about, how she sells salads, and, I gave her my card, and I said how I grow food and this and third, and we can coordinate and network and do things and share resources and stuff like that, and go into business, have business opportunities. We was talking about all of that. But it's amazing how out of the last, being here for, over 10 years now, I've never ran into a person that was active. I mean, like I told her about the woman that I knew that was, where she was from, just across the river, or across the bridge, because I live right up the block. I don't live far from Illinois. I can be in Illinois within a half hour. I can be in Tennessee within a half hour. I can probably be in Missouri within an hour. So I'm in the area where I can just get to all of these 3 states. But it was amazing to see and hear, how she talked and the experience that she was having. And it was the same experience that I was having. Listen, you got to understand that there's only going to be a few people that get it, understand it, and is willing to do anything about their situation. That the vast majority of people, they're going to go with the flow. And you see, look at society today. Whether it comes with the men, they all dress the same. They all hair is, they wear wild hairdos. They all talk with the same drag in their voice. They all dress the same. They all pretty much look the same. It's amazing how you can line up 10 folk on the street, and they all pretty much, they all wear their hair the same. They all wear the same sneakers. They all talk the same. They all listen to the same, every single one of them. And then it's the same with the women. They all the same eyelashes, the same nails, the same look, the same hairdos, the same clothes, the same spandex, the same bonnets, and we are all the same. They all look pretty much the same. And when you have people that is conformed to the things of this world to that extent, and this is why I know that, just even me, I don't look like, talk like, dress like, or present myself like just every other brother that's on the street. And I like that way about my wife, my children. I was just now at Walmart, ran into a brother at Walmart, and while we were talking, 2 separate women, elderly women, walked up to my daughter and gave her compliments on how she looked. She wasn't even saying that. She was just standing there. But dressed, modestly dressed, head wrap. They're eating that stuff out here today. But it's amazing, again, how few people get it and understand it. And this is the society that we're living in, even in 2026. You have so many people that have conformed to the things of this world. They look, act, dress, talk, think The exact same. So when you run into people of like mind, man, and are on to the same wavelength, there goes your opportunities. There goes a situation in which you can, leverage those relationships, develop good, solid bonds with people of like mind. Because, in this day and age, look at what everybody's doing. They're like everybody else. They think like everybody else. They dress like everybody else, from the top of their head to the bottom of their souls. They're just like everybody else. You can't distinguish one from another. But again, it was a relief to her and me. And as a married woman, she's been married for a very long time. She states, you know what I'm saying, very solid marriage. Very serious about how she's raising her, her granddaughters, and her daughters and her sons are pillars of the society. They're not into any of that riffraff. So those are the people that you're going to have to associate with, because these people that don't get it, they don't get it. Don't waste your time. It is what it is. But it was an interesting experience. I'd never experienced or ran into a prepper before. I guess the spirit moved like that because, like, why would she even just outright tell me that? And I never even met her, even know her. It's like, it's something about a spirit that you see different about people. But it was a wonderful experience. All right, shalom.